An important piece of music history in the tri-state faces another demolition threat. King Records helped put Cincinnati on par with places like Sun Studios in Memphis and Motown in Detroit. Local 12's Jeff Hirsch joins us live with the new push to save King's former home in Evanston. Jeff?
Good evening. You know, the fate of this building behind me has been in the courts for years, but now it is going to the city's Historic Conservation Board for a demolition permit request hearing on January 30th. But the mayor is hoping to head that off by introducing something into city council next week. Although most drivers on I-71 probably don't know it, an iconic location in the history of American popular music is right here.
Of course, when you hear King Records, you think of James Brown.
Baby, you did me wrong.
But there's so many other artists that came past there. Jimi Hendrix came there and played, Hank Ballard, little Willie John.
Your dad?
My dad, Otis Williams, of the Charms.
It's been abandoned for several years, but from 1943 to 71, the King Records studio on Brewster Avenue was where music history and other history was made by owner Syd Nathan and performers in country, R&B, rock and roll, doo-wop, and funk. There's even an historical marker in front from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Saving King Records is an imperative for the history of civil rights in this city and this country. King Records was the first integrated record company in the United States in the 1940s that produced music of both white and black artists. Extremely rare in that time period.
But the building's owner has filed a demolition permit request, saying there are holes in the roof, the second floor is falling down, there is serious deterioration, and the interior is unsafe. Company attorney Tim Burke says the building is so far gone that it would be incredibly expensive to save and not economically feasible to do so. But Mayor Cranley will ask City Council next week to declare a public purpose to save the building, making eminent domain at least a possibility if the owner will not sell to the city. The long-term goal is to rebuild this into a museum and community recording facility run by the nonprofit King Studios Foundation.
When I travel around as a musician doing different productions and things, all types of musicians ask me, what's going on with King Records? If we lost that building, it's hard for me when I'm away from here to explain to other people, you had the building and you let it go.
The mayor says he would rather see the owner of this building sell it to the city instead of potentially going to eminent domain. And if it does go to eminent domain, the owner would get fair market value, which would have to be determined. The auditor has determined the assessed value at $130,000. If the city ultimately does buy the building, then it would cost, the mayor says, about $1 million or $2 million to fix it up and put the museum in. He says that money would be privately raised. Live in Evanston, Jeff Hirsch, Local 12 News. Back to you.
I'd like to see him save it too, Jeff. I spent a lot of time with my father in that building when I was a kid, but raising that $2 million is going to be a tough chore, isn't it?
Well, you know, the mayor says that there are people in the music business willing to help. There's a gentleman, L.A. Reid, who's a big producer in the music business, originally from Cincinnati. The mayor says he's willing to help out. So as the other gentleman said, who's the son of one of the former music stars that recorded here, the son of Otis Williams, he said, you got to get the building first, then you start raising the money.
Good point. I hope it works. Thanks very much, Jeff Hirsch. The mayor is meeting tomorrow afternoon with various groups trying to save King Records to talk about what's next.